Without commitment, you'll never start. But more importantly, without consistency, you'll never finish. It's not easy. If it was easy, there'd be no Kerry Washington. If it was easy, there'd be no Taraji Henson, Pete Henson. If it were easy, there'd be no Octavia Spencer. But not only that, if it were easy, there'd be no Viola Davis. If it were easy, there'd be no Michael T. Williamson, no Stephen McKinley Henderson, no Russell Hornsby. If it were easy, there'd be no Denzel Washington. So keep working, keep striving, never give up, fall down 7 times, get up 8. Ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. Ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. So keep moving, keep growing, keep learning. See you at work.
Welcome. You're in the studios of WLTT 1180 and 104.9 here in the studios of Wilmington, North Carolina, coming to you out of the port city of Wilmington, North Carolina. Our show is called Noo Covers Live. I'm your host, Daoud El-Amin, coming to you on a Wednesday afternoon. Hope everybody is having a great day. I am as well. Appreciate my Facebook audience for joining in as well. You're always on time, and we'll always see you, and glad to see you. Hello, my wife. My wife is in the house today. Glad to have you online as well. Quick cleaning house information to get out for the Wilmington audience. September the 19th, 2018. September the 19th, mark your dates, 2018. Here in the port city of Wilmington, North Carolina, Anita Earls will be here at your radio station at our administrative offices. She will be upstairs. We want you all to put it on your date to come out and meet her. She is an African-American running for the Supreme Court, North Carolina Supreme Court. We need to try to back her. We need to get out and support her. And we need to ask her questions. Just don't support people. Ask them questions and figure out if their agenda meets your agenda, and then you vote. So Anita Earl is one of the candidates. Should be here. We have on the station as well. Will be here September 19th, 2018. Mark your calendars for that. Also, 61 days and counting. The elections are coming November the 23rd. We got to make a change. We got to make a difference. So we are pushing the vote. We're pushing to get out to vote. 2018 is a very critical year, if you don't know, if you haven't been watching the news. I've said 2018 will determine whether I stay or go. Those that know. 2018 will be determining factor in me whether I stay or go. I've been wanting to leave. I've got opportunities to leave, and you should be also have your bags packed as well. I don't know what 2018 is going to play. I've told you along on this show many times, we're fighting all angles now. So I'm pushing the vote. People are, brother, why are you pushing the vote, man? You ain't never pushed the vote before you. I'm pushing everything. I'm pushing every envelope because I don't have a way. I'm trying to find a way. So you all that know the way, hey, I'll follow you if you got a way. I want to get into this Colin Kaepernick situation today. 910-765-0099 is the number to call in. I want to chime in. Let me tell you what I've learned about talk radio in the 3-4 years I've been doing it. I started off on Blog Talk Radio, and I moved from Blog Talk Radio and finally got into a radio station that gave me an hour 3 days a week to do talk radio. I have a call-in line, 910-765-0099. I won't bite. I'll answer your call if you call in. However, I do get long-winded sometimes and like to talk because I use it as an opportunity, as a platform. I use talk radio as a platform to get a message out there. I'm not always right, and I don't claim to always be right. I've learned every day from different people. So I don't always claim to be right, and I don't claim to know it all. I have an opinion just like everyone else. And I use this platform with talk radio to get an opinion out there, especially when I see something different than everyone else sees it. You may be looking at something and you may have an aha moment. And so in that aha moment, your background, your study, your growth may have got you to see something different. And in that moment, you want to get it out there. One thing I've learned about talk radio is that when you get your moment out there, if you're thin-skinned with this, you can't do this because you're going to get attacked from on some angles. Some going to agree with you, some not going to agree. That's just life. That is how radio works. That's how talk radio works. That is how opinions work. Everyone's not agree with your opinion. So for you all, I'm never thin-skinned. If you disagree with my opinion, I understand. You have yours and I have mine. But sometimes over the 20, 30 years now that I have been doing what I call liberation work. See, I pick cotton by night. You know, I have a job that I pick cotton on. If I have a job and someone is paying me a paycheck and I'm not working for myself, I call it picking cotton. That's all I'm doing is picking cotton. During the daytime and on my social media time and in my spare time, Black liberation is my full-time job. I study it, I practice it, and I try to get it to my children and my family to be liberated, to be free thinkers, to think outside of the box sometimes. So like you, and everyone else, the moment I'm not going to say everyone else, because some people saw it before I saw it. When I saw the ad with Colin Kaepernick and the way it was worded, the way the expression his face showed, I said, I gave the clap, thumbs up, high five. I was right. They got it. Nike socked it to the NFL. I was on that bandwagon initially. My initial response was, yeah, go get him, Nike. Take that one, Donald Trump. That was I'm just like everybody else. I have emotions like everyone else. So my emotional response was, get it to him. Give it to him. Take that. That was my emotional response. But then I had to think for a second. And what made me think is a young lady named Jennifer. She put a post out. And in her post, she said, this is interesting. The same NFL that pays Nike now has to pay Colin Kaepernick. Now, that was her post. It was something to that phrase, but she was snickering because she said, this is going to be interesting. The same NFL that pays Nike now has to pay Colin Kaepernick. And that's when my mind went, aha, hold the brakes. Because sports is my thing as well. I every morning between the hours of 9 to probably 11 o'clock sometimes, and especially before I got the show, if I have a day off of the show, I'm on 2 stations, Fox Sports and CFN. Stephen A., I study him well. Skip Bayless, I study him well. I study these folks well because I study sports journalism. We study other people who take on their behaviors. I study them. They're mentors for me. I watch how they operate. I watch how they've grown in the business. So these are mentors. So sports is my lane. I've always been a sports fanatic. I just never could play it. My father wouldn't let me, but I was a sports fanatic. I love sports. I love the study of sports. So the moment she posted that the NFL now has to pay a company who's paying Colin Kaepernick, I said, whoa. The NFL doesn't pay Nike. Nike pays the NFL. And so immediately I started going to my research pool. And of course, my mind was correct. The Nike pays the NFL almost $250 million to put that label on all of those uniforms and jerseys. Matter of fact, they make the uniforms and jerseys and give them to the NFL to wear. Why? Because the Nike brand, the swoosh, is what you see when they run across the goal line. The swoosh is what you see when they run a field goal. The swoosh is what you see on every helmet, a pad, side pocket, or shoulder as an endorsement to the NFL. The swoosh is what you see. Nike pays the NFL for that. So I said, whoa, the NFL is not paying Nike, who's now going to pay Colin Kaepernick. No, that's not how this works. The NFL is going to continue to get their check from the 31 other sponsors. And you all saw my page. I listed all the sponsors, other ones that sponsor and endorse the products of the NFL. So I said, well, what's going on here? Then I thought about this for a second. I said, hold on. The article said Colin Kaepernick was still getting checks from Nike. Oh, that's right. He was under contract in 2010. He was under contract when they released him from the NFL. He was under a contract with Nike, and Nike was one of the companies that decided not to kill his contract, but allow the contract to continue. So you want to know how Colin Kaepernick's been living? A lot of those endorsements that he was still getting, he kept getting those checks in the mail every month. Every month. Because some of those companies were wise enough and said, if we kill his endorsement that we give him, it's going to be a backlash. And they didn't want the backlash from those people that were standing with Kaepernick. The standing with Kaepernick movement has been out here for a minute. So a lot of times when I hear people clapping, I'm sitting back listening, because I'm one of those people that have been with the standing with Kaepernick movement for a minute. I'm one of those people who didn't watch a game of football at all last year. I'm one of those people who cut CNN, ESPN off when it got to the football news last year. I'm not one of those get on the bandwagon lately. I see my brother Kevin Spears is just online. He's one of those ones like me. We not only get on the bandwagon, we didn't watch a game, and I can verify him because he always talks about it as well. We didn't watch a game of football last year. We didn't just get on this stand for Kaepernick bandwagon. Some of us are on the national websites and are listening to what the movement on the ground is. So when I saw the fact that here Nike has all of a sudden, much respect, Cal, here's all of a sudden I seen that Nike is all of a sudden coming on Kaepernick's bandwagon. No, they've been giving Kaepernick checks because they had to. What Nike did, in my humble opinion to y'all, is they threw what in football we call an audible. You go to the line of scrimmage and you change the play of the game. It's called an audible. And as I said today, this particular audible that Nike threw or called, it threw the secondary motion. Those that were on the front line, if you could see, we immediately, yes, I jumped. Oh, yes, get him, Nike. Get that one in the trunk. I did that initially, but then my thought process came in. And I said, whoa, Nike. You had a contract that was expiring, and you had to make a business decision. Yes, folks, pump the brakes. All these folks talking about all of a sudden they're going out to buy some Nike gear. Let me tell you, this is nothing new for me. Most people that know me, have never seen me in a pair of tennis shoes. In some 20-something years, I have never worn a pair of tennis shoes. I wear flip-flops if I wear anything. And if I wear sneakers to a gym, they're old, run-down pair of sneakers, but they're not Nikes. I never brought Nikes. I never brought Nikes even for my children in 20-something years. I can tell you that. They can attest to that. They might have brought their own Nikes later on, but I've never paid for them. I stopped dealing with Nikes years ago. Michael Jordan never got any of my money. This is nothing new for my distrust with Nike. A $10 shoe at $150 to parents. I was always one of those Strawberry fans who had a sneaker that folks could afford. I was always one of those fans of Shaq who had sneakers that people could afford. I was always the fan of any athlete that would put out a product so the community that buys their shoes could afford. I was never and will never be in favor of a country. I said I had 94 reasons why. I'm going to tell you those 94 reasons. The 94 reasons why I can't run with Nike is $94 billion. That's what they're worth. $94 billion. That's what they're worth. See, if Nike, this is why I can't run with this campaign, because I see what they're doing. They're playing on your emotions, and I'm trying to get us to think and cut the emotions off. Yes, Donald, Keem, Elijah, Stephen Marbury. Yeah, those sneakers that folks can afford. Marbury made a shoe reasonable for children to wear. You would never have seen me with a pair of Nikes on my feet. Unless they were in the garbage and I picked them up and dusted them off and put them on. That's never been my brand. I don't wear Nike hats. Never have. I've just really started wearing caps. And this is a philosophy that I grew up with, because one of the reasons why I never wore sneakers, and you never see me in a pair of sneakers, I was told that and this was my background and our upbringing, we were told in the mosque when brothers start putting sneakers on, they go to play. And he wanted, in my philosophy, the group that I was with, we was always in business mode. So business mode kept me with shoes on my feet. I ain't come out in the morning to play. I came out to get busy, to get that paper, to work, to build a nation, to build a product, to build a brand. So I stay in shoe mode most of the time. This is nothing new with me and my relationship with Nike. So I don't want you to think I'm just jumping on something today. I want us to pump the brakes on all of this praise because Nike only made a business decision. A $94 million company, $94 billion, that's right, Donald, $94 billion. They had to make a conscious decision what to do with the expiring contract. Colin Kaepernick's contract was running out. And Nike knew that if they didn't renew his contract, there was going to be backlash, not only from you, but also from the grounds. Let me tell you what's going on the national level for you all to just jump on the Colin Kaepernick bandwagon, because like I said, some of us didn't watch football at all this year and plan not to watch it at all this year. On the national level, the Stand With Colin Kaepernick movement, and you can find them on your Facebook pages, there are many of them out there, but they're Roof on the national level who's been driving this train. Last year, the boycott was instruction-wise. We told, from the national level, we told all African Americans, do not watch the NFL. We're going to kill their ratings. Well, here's what we found out. The boycott last year, at the end of the day, the NFL had a 4% increase in profit. With all the boycotting we did last year, with all of those not turning on the TV, supposedly, with all of those supposedly standing for Kaepernick signs, with all those fists in the air and all those still kneeling, at the end of the day, the records show that the NFL still had a 4 to 6% increase in profit margin, meaning that the owners still put money in their pocket. So those that have been paying attention to the trend this year on the national level, when I'm talking about national level, I'm talking about those people who are pushing the Stand With Colin Kaepernick movement. Those people who have said, not like some of the NFL players did, who went and made a deal without ensuring that Colin had a job. Those people that said, we're going to continue this movement until he's employed or until he says stop and we have some satisfaction. Colin hadn't said stop yet. So on the national level, the movement going into next Sunday, opening day, was to hit those 32 sponsors. Not to cut the TV off, but to cut the money going to that 32 sponsors. There has been a conscious movement to try to figure how we can get the people this year to take their money and stop spending them with the 32 sponsors. Nike being one of them. Now, you can go on my page and get the list of the sponsors and pull them down. They're there. There are 32 of them. Big-time sponsors for the NFL. The idea this year was to make sure that we put pressure on the sponsors, because we know that if companies like Nike tell the NFL, you know what, we're not going to give you that $250 million this year. Why don't you try to get it from Armour? Or why don't you try to get it from Adidas? Let's see if we pull away from the table. Let's see if Adidas was going to give you the same money and the same quality product that Nike would give you. Yeah. A lot of companies were feeling the pressure. And Nike, feeling the pressure, said, you know what? We're going to change strategy here. What we're going to do is we're going to make Colin Kaepernick our poster child. And they just didn't do it with Colin. See, when I heard Serena Williams' comments at the U.S. Open, again, emotionally, I applauded. Because I thought she said, oh, Colin Kaepernick was a good, I heard it was nice, it was sweet. But then I also found out that Serena was also doing an ad for Nike for the 30th anniversary, as well as LeBron. So, of course, these folks are on, and nothing against them. They make your money. Do what you have to do. Stand with. But folks, when we get involved, see, these are millionaires and people that have money. They got a stake in the game. Our stake in the game is at a bigger picture. So when I saw on the page the folks talking about, you know what, I'm going out to get some Nikes this week, and I'm going out to buy some Nike products this week. For what? They haven't changed up their practices on how they make their shoes. Did I say something wrong? They haven't changed up their sweatshops. And believe me, they didn't go to sleep one night and wake up the next morning and decide, you know what, we're going to have a heart. Because regardless of which side you stand on this issue with the national stand, the protests, and I've said it before in earlier shows, this is a black and white issue. You can say it's not all day long, but it's a black and white issue. It always has been. It's been the flag and the national anthem has been a black and white issue all the way back when it was written. Wasn't nothing written in the Star Spangled Banner about you, except it was something written about you, but it wasn't written about you being free. The Pledge of Allegiance to the flag has always been about country. It's always been a black issue. The same Pledge of Allegiance to a flag, that same flag that abused you and I and our ancestors for years and continue to do so. So it's always been a black and white issue. The flag has always been a black and white issue. Do you know that when Colin sat down and said he wasn't standing, when he did that, it was nothing new for me. I grew up raised as a Jehovah's Witness. Every year, my father had to go to the school and explain to the teacher why I would not be standing up for the flag and why I would not be standing up for the national anthem. It was an issue almost every year until I got in high school. Jehovah's Witnesses take their cases to Supreme Court because the school system wanted to put their children out of school at one time unless they stood for the flag and stood for the national anthem. They took it all the way to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said you cannot make them stand for the flag or the national anthem. So when Colin sat down on his water cooler, I said then, good point. But what made it a black and white issue, when he sat down, he was on police brutality. It was on the issues. He said he could not stand for a flag when in a country that will not fight for the injustices that he saw every day. That's what he did. He sat down on a water. Matter of fact, he was minding his own business. He didn't even tell anybody what he was doing. He was minding his own business. And a reporter came and asked him, why are you not standing? It was only then that he had to express why he wasn't standing for the flag. It was his own silent protest. The same silent protest that I had when I went to school as a Jehovah's Witness. It was my own silent protest in the class. My father said, do not stand for the flag, and I didn't. It was my own protest. When he sat down, that's what he did. It was his own little silent protest. Many of the players didn't understand it. Some of them joined in, and many of them didn't. Now, here's what made it a black and white issue, a major black and white issue. Many of the players that now are protesting with Colin did not protest before Donald Trump called them an SOB. It wasn't until Donald Trump decided to come out his mouth because he saw a way to raise his level and his people's. It's all about controlling the people. He saw a way to increase his margin line. He saw a way to increase his popularity. He saw a way to increase his base. And what he decided to do was, here I am, I'm going to call these, you know what, SOBs. And when he did that, the players said enough. Those same players should have been standing with Kaepernick from the get-go, but they weren't. They were getting a paycheck. They wasn't going to cross the picket line. It wasn't until the president of the United States came out and made these, and we knew what these meant. When he said, those, you should fire those SOBs, we knew he was talking specifically about black players in the NFL. He wasn't talking about the white players standing or even participating. He was talking specifically. The same way when he said these SOBs, it was the same way when he called Omarosa a dog. We knew exactly who and what people he was talking about. And that's what caused the uproar. That's what caused the movement to begin to get some leverage. I didn't hear about Nike pulling their endorsements from the NFL during that time period. Did anybody hear about Nike going to the NFL and saying, I saw a little paragraph that Nike said, we support him, but they didn't tell the NFL, you know what, if y'all don't change this, those other 31 companies didn't go to the NFL and say, you know what, we're going to change our way of doing business with you if you don't correct this problem that you're having with your players. They sat in the back room. Folks, Colin Kaepernick's contract was expiring with Nike. Colin Kaepernick been getting a paycheck from Nike ever since he stopped playing football because he had to because on the contract. Nike just didn't know what to do with him. So you already want to run out now and go buy tennis shoes. Understand that Nike just didn't know what to do with him. They had no idea of what to do with him. And them not having an idea of what to do with him, what they did was made a conscious decision. They made a conscious decision, and that conscious decision was now to make sure that they could capitalize. And the way they capitalized and the way they made a conscious decision was they played on the emotions of the people. They put an ad. They put an ad out, a full-page ad out, to capitalize on your emotions to make you think that they are behind the man. They are behind the individual, and they are behind the movement. Well, if you're behind the man, Nike, if you're behind the individual, I tell you what, drop the prices on them shoes so our children can afford them. And families won't keep spending all their hard-earned money trying to be with the who's who. Cut the price in half. You still gonna make a profit. If you really about injustice, if you really about the pain and hurt of my community, if you really want to make an impact, if you really want me to start running with you, cut the price on them shoes that you sell for $120, $400, $300 that you only pay $10 for over in the sweatshop. If you really want my environment, you really want me to run with you, if you want me to say just do it, cut the price. Cut the price down. Make the price reasonable, so that families are not at the first of the school year stretching their budget to the limb because you psychologically endorse and force these products on these children. You forcing them. They see the symbol, the swoosh. You gotta have a swoosh, right? You know what? I saw the other day. I never knew. I saw on Facebook somebody was burning somebody on Facebook was burning some Nikes. They had a Facebook page, and one of the sisters came in. They were so astute that they said, "No, those are not Nikes because the swoosh is backwards." I never knew the swoosh had a left or right. Never. I didn't know the swoosh was left or right. She said, "Those fake Nikes." I said, "What?" She said, "Because the swoosh is going the wrong way." I didn't know the swoosh had a certain way to go. That's like, that's how bad I am when it comes to Nike. I've never, like I said earlier, I've never supported the company. I've never endorsed paying that much for a tennis shoe. I've never wore them. I never wore their products in some 20, 30 years. It's never been my brand. So this is nothing new I'm jumping on. It's always been there. Pump the brakes, folks. That was I wanted to get out today. Hey, Ma, how you doing? I see my mom over on the other channel, on the live station as well. How you doing? Donald, I need to get with you, bro. I'm going to say this on the air. I need to get with you. I'm trying to figure out how to get you in the studio, one of these chairs one day, so we can drop some knowledge together. I just haven't figured out how to do it yet, but I'm working on it, bro. I'm talking to the mayor, Donald McCoy is out there. He came by online today. I appreciate you coming by. I appreciate Kevin coming by. But that was my message for the day. I just wanted to get that. I want us to pump the brakes for a second. And we have to start doing this with everything that we do, folks. And I admit, and I said it at the beginning of the show, and I said it on my page, When I initially saw the ad, I jumped just like everyone else did and said, hurrah. But then I had to think. And that's what we got to start doing. And here is the issue. When someone thinks and you actually know, hold on, and they see it a little bit different, don't be just listen to what they're saying. Don't be so hard, because what's getting me right now, I'm going to say this, what's really gets me furious is that I'm your brother. I've been doing this work for 25 years, 30 years. I'm your brother. Hey, Mom, Queen Mother has just joined in. I've been doing this work for 25 and 30 years. I'm your brother. If I say something, understand that I have calculated and thought the process and even prayed about the process before I uttered it from my mouth. I didn't just come out and say, "Ho, pump the brakes on Nikes." I went and did the research to find out that Nike was a $24 billion company. I went and did the research and found out that Nike was paying the NFL over $250 million a year. I went and did the research and found out that they make the uniforms and they put the symbol on for the NFL. So my thought process was hold on. They're making a business decision. They're not making a decision based on they went to sleep. Paul Knight didn't go to sleep this weekend and grow a heart. Because if Paul Nike wouldn't grow a heart, he would go over there and close those sweatshops down and stop destroying communities. If Paul Nike if he grew a heart, he would lower those prices and make sure families that really wanted his product could afford his product. If he grew a heart and he really wanted to be about black struggle, he could have did more than an ad. Yes, Donald. I'm trying to go get the list because I want to pull that list up and give you while I got this last few minutes. I want to pull the list up and give you. Let me just pull the list up for you, so you'll know this is nothing. What we're talking about, and this was the national movement. The national movement was going after. They wanted this year not to just talk about the boycott, but the national movement, a Stand for Colin Kaepernick movement, wanted to go after these companies. Let me give you the list. Gatorade. Here is why I'm not going for the Nike ad. I can't run with Nike. Gatorade, ENA Sports, Visa, Campbell Soup, FedEx. What I'm reading you are the list of companies that endorse the NFL. Endorsements meaning they pay money to the NFL for their commercials to run. They pay money to the NFL for their products to be seen. They pay money to the NFL. When you see the NFL player eating the Camel Soup commercial, they're paying money to the NFL to use their players because their players are under contract. So they just can't. See, here's how endorsements work. A company like Nike just can't go to LeBron James and say, "Hey, we're going to give you some money," because he's under contract with the NBA. They just can't go over to Odell Beckham Jr. and say, "We're going to give you some money." No, he's under contract with the NFL. So you got to give the NFL some money too for using their slave on the plantation. Yeah, it's like one plantation owner to the other. I'm going to buy your slave. Well, you got to, whatever that slave, do you know back in the day, if a plantation owner harms another person's slave, they had to pay the owner of the plantation what it was worth, just like it was livestock. It's the same today. So these companies pay the NFL money to keep. That's how the owners make. That's how the owners get their money in their pocket. Gatorade, ENA Sports, Visa, Campbell Soup, Frito-Lay, Snickers and Skittles and M&Ms, Pepsi, Dairy Management Incorporated, Sirius XM, Bridgestone Tires, Ticketmasters, Gillette Head and Shoulders, Verizon, Barclays, Papa John's, but Papa John's got a little bit of trouble. They got rid of them. They was one of the spot. They on the list. But Papa John's got a little bit. See, you see how that game work? Papa John's got in a little trouble. The NFL said, we don't want to do business with you no more. Under Armour, Castrol, Anheuser-Busch, USAA, Bose, speakers you listen to, Courtyard by Marriott, Microsoft, Quaker Oats, New Area, Nike, Duracell, Tide, CoverGirl, Zebra Technologies, Extreme Networks, Nationwide is on your side. No, they're not. Hyundai, Dannon, and Ford. That's a list of the 31. 36 altogether. 37 companies, including Nike. 37 major companies. These are major companies that pay money to the NFL every time, every season. They pay money to the NFL to make sure that their product is seen on those commercials. Their products is brought by the viewers of the National Football League. So Nike, sell that car to somebody else. I'm not buying it. Sell that vision to somebody else. Your boy, he ain't buying it. I can see through your game. I see what you're doing. You playing on the minds of the people. You knew if you released Colin Kaepernick on the contract, it was going to be some backlash. You know most of the people that wear your sneakers don't look like Paul Knight. Black folks, you really don't know how much spending power you have. Community, you really don't know how much spending power you actually have. So play that game with somebody else. I can read through the small print. And I know, and look here, even within our own network here, I have other posts that disagree with me. They say you just beating on you don't give nobody a break. Give credit where credit is due. I will, when they do some credit. But for a $94 billion company to make a business decision and make it appear as if they have the care for the community, or that they're really for fighting against injustice. That's what this boils down to. The injustice argument. The standing for Colin Kaepernick, the kneeling for the flag, is a symbol of injustice. The injustice that are inflicted on men and women of color in this country on a daily basis. That's what the argument was about. It's about the injustice that's been inflicted. So for a $94 billion company to go to sleep and wake up, and for me to think that for 1 minute, they all of a sudden care about the injustices of us, when the price tag on their shoes is $190 to $200, $300 for a $10 shoe. For Michael Jordan's brand, for me to think all of a sudden you care about the injustices of us. I'm not saying folks don't do something. Yeah. I'm not saying that there's not some folks that do something, but there's so much more that can be done. Those 31 companies, if you didn't get them, I'm going to give it to you again. Go out and get off the air. Those 37 companies could have ended this process overnight. They could have had a general meeting and said, look here, the NFL is this NFL is this thing is unjust. But see, here's the problem. Let's make it clear. Here's the problem. Gatorade, Visa, Camel Soup. Racist people eat Camel Soup too. Racist people drink Gatorade too. FedEx. Racist folks use FedEx, Frito-Lay. They eat Snickers, they eat Skittles. They drink Pepsi. You notice I didn't see Coca-Cola up here. It's interesting. I see Pepsi, but I don't see Coca-Cola as one of the major sponsors of the NFL. Coca-Cola got a line on that margin. Serious Management, Bridgestone Tires, Ticketmasters, Gillette, Head & Shoulders, Verizon, Barclays, Papa John's, No More, Under Armour, Castrol, Anheuser-Busch. Yeah. You think Anheuser-Busch all of a sudden woke up and going to give a care about the injustice of us? Quaker Oats, they woke up and decided they're going to give a care. Duracell, Tide, CoverGirl, they woke up and decided they really care. If they didn't, I'm not going to buy it. Nike did. The only difference in those companies and Nike is that Nike had Colin Kaepernick under contract. I'm going to say that again. The only difference between the other 36 companies and Nike is that Nike was continuing to pay Colin Kaepernick because he was under an endorsement contract that was ending. And they had to decide what to do with the contract. And Nike was afraid that if they canceled his contract, you would find out. And if you find out, it would be a backlash for one of their biggest profit margins, you and I. And if that had happened and they got the backlash, they would rather take the risk that they're taking now than the backlash that you would have gave them. You do not understand the power of your dollar. We do not understand our $1 trillion spending power and the power that we have. We had that much spending power that we caused a $94 billion company to make a decision that they didn't want to make, but they had to make it because of fear of you pulling your dollars away from their company. That's how much, that's what I want you to get from all of this. That is how much power that you have in your spending dollar. You forced a $94 billion company to make a business decision that they didn't want to make because they were afraid that you would take their shoes off your children's feet. And if you took your shoes off, you took those Nikes and put them away, the Nikes' bottom line would decrease. That is why you see Colin Kaepernick on the cover of Nike. Not because Nike grew up and had a heart about the injustices that we faced every day. Nike had a contract with Colin Kaepernick, and those other 36 companies did not. And that's why you haven't heard them say a word. If Nike had a contract with Gatorade, and Gatorade was thinking that you was going to stop drinking Gatorade if they didn't support Colin, they'd be supporting Colin. These companies are about profit. Whenever you see a major corporation make a move, understand, they go in the back room. They had hashed this out for probably about a year. What are we going to do when Colin Kaepernick's contract went up? They've hashed this out for about a year. Understand, it's always about business first with the oppressor. Always. Hadn't changed since slavery. It's always going to be about how much profit am I going to make off this cotton. Even the freeing of the slaves was about profit margin. These kill me. Donald can testify to it. These northern folks that come down here kill me. They come down here from up north, and I get them all the time. Some of them on my page. And I'm talking, they know who I'm talking to. I get them all the time. They come down here and they want to show how much of a bleeding heart they have for us and our struggle. Well, we get them all the time. They come from up north. They come down here to the south and I don't know how you all take the racism down here. I don't know how you take, but do something about it then. That church you sitting there, why don't you tell the pastor to change the sermon on Sunday morning? Do something about it with that company that you work for. Won't you go in there and tell the people, look, do something about it. Come in here with your they come in here with that bleeding heart of how much they care about. It's always about the dollar line. The North was losing profit because the South was growing on cotton, free labor. And the North wanted some of that labor. If I get rid of slavery, I force the slaves to come up in North and work in my factories. It was about the dollar. It was about who could profit off of this 40 now million people that's in this land that we really don't know what to do with, but we got to do something with them. That's how it always is about us. And if you think it's changed, just look at your White House. If you think that concept has changed since the Civil War, all you have to do is look directly at the White House. The question still lies, and it has not been answered yet. What do we do with this 40 million people? We really don't want, but we have to tolerate. We'll take their entertainers, we'll take their actors, and we'll take a few of them and put them in position, but we really don't want them. We got to find out what to do with them. It all comes down to the dollar. And that is why we got to get busy doing for self. That's why we got to get busy taking care of our own education. That's why we got to get busy taking care of our businesses. That's why we got to get busy policing our community and policing our children. Because guess what, folks? The moment they find a way to replace you, they will. The moment they find a way to replace you, they will. Other folks' economic power is getting just as big as yours now. Their buying power is just as big as yours now. We got to start focusing on ourselves, focusing on our community, and doing for self. Because this concept is not changed. Stop thinking that these folks done woke up and got a heart. It's all about the dollar. They have a heart for greed, and it has not changed. You can control that by stop thinking emotionally and start thinking rationally. Look at the concept, think about it, and then work with those people that you know have your best interests at heart. You know who they. I've had people attack me in the last 24 hours that know I got their best interests at heart. You know I would never say anything against the community and not have thought the process out all the way. If I send a warning out, it's only because I've done research and trying to get whole pump the brakes. Here's what Nike gets. That's all Nike. I'm not giving. That's all I'm giving Nike. A clap. That's all I'm getting. Pull the $24 million, $250 million from the NFL. Tell the other 36 companies to do the same. Pour their money, pour their endorsements. Because I really miss watching football. Be honest with you. I really miss it. I was in a conscious debate just last week whether I'm going to watch football or not this year. I really missed it. And I'm a basketball fan, but I really missed watching some of the games. I really missed the Super Bowl last year. I really missed it. But I had made a conscious decision to stand with Colin. I made a conscious decision to stand with the movement. And that's why I was glad that this year the national directive said, no, we're going after the corporations that sponsor the NFL. I was like, can we go back and watch football again? They're like, nah, we're going to keep that one going, but we're also going to go after the corporations. I was like, man, I want to watch a little ball this year. But if that's what the national directive is, I'm going with the national directive. I've always talking and I'm always speaking, not from myself, but I follow other folks as well. I follow a team nationally. Those are people that think I posted something last week at Aretha Franklin's funeral. I don't think people caught it. I said all of those black leaders standing there in death, but can't unite in life. Believe me, folks, we have a problem among our black leaders, but that's not all of them. There are some ones that are working up under the scene. You don't see them, but they are. Get with me off camera. Get with me off of Facebook and talk to me. I'll tell you where they at. I guide you to them. The reason why some of them don't make it public and the reason why I don't make some of them public is because they'll be destroyed. Because we still have a common enemy. End of the day, I want to thank my brother. I don't know if he's online or he's going to be online or will he tune in later on. He may get the show later on the night because he told me to send him copies of my shows. Brother Umar, I want to thank him for coming to the calling in on Friday. He gave us a wonderful show. We got good feedback. For you all that want the update on Umar, Bishop here at the station went to visit him over the weekend in Raleigh. We are anticipating a November date for you all that want to see and talk to Brother Umar here in the Port City. We're working on a rally for the compensation of the victims of 1898. Look for that in November the 10th, a rally for the compensation for the victims of the 1898 massacre that happened here. And compensation does not necessarily mean money. Compensation may mean opportunities for the folks in Wilmington that still suffer from 1898. Yeah, opportunity. It means opportunity for those that suffer. We are still suffering here in this city from 1898. And the business community alone shows that. So we need to have compensation for what happened in that massacre, and we're going to push for that. and other things. Remember, Anita Earls here on this station September the 19th, 2018 at 5:30 p.m. CLI Administration Offices. November the 6th coming up, 61 days. Make sure you get your voting registration, get out and vote. Encourage your family that you have. We got to vote, y'all. We got to do this. And you all that don't believe in the voting process, I understand. Believe me, been there with you. And I keep saying 23 minutes. 6 minutes. I used the term 6 minutes the other week. That's how long it's going to take you to go in and vote and get out. You don't believe in the process and you register. It's okay for you to not believe in it, but just don't not participate in it. It's not costing you anything. All you have to do is pull up, go stand in line, go register your vote, and come on home. It didn't cost you anything. So whether you believe in the process or not, don't hurt a process that may work by you not participating. The only things I don't participate in is a lot of marches. I just don't do that anymore. I'm done. But if you have a good cause and you call me, I'll show up. If you said, "Dawg, we really need you," I'll be there. I might not agree, but I'll be there because, hey, you got something going on. I want to be there to support you. We got to support each other more in the community if we want to get things done. So I need you here September 9th, here at this station. No, I definitely need you here at the station September 9th at 5:30 p.m. Mark your column. Nita Earls, African-American, running for the North Carolina Supreme Court question. Bring her your legal questions that you need to ask where you stand on legal issues. There are a lot of legal issues that's coming up in the North Carolina Supreme Court. You all, especially felons, going to be here and talk about those issues on where they stand on those rights. Also, study your amendments that's on the poll that's coming up on the voting. Will be there. Appreciate it now. Study those amendments. Make sure you get those amendments. Study them hard. There's a couple of them that's I'm still on the fence on. I know I'm definitely on the, I'm not going with the voting one. I know I'm definitely on that. The victim's right one, I'm still studying. I'm just going to be honest with y'all. I'm still studying that one because I know how it is to be a victim of a crime. I know what they're saying that is worded, but Macy's Law, I've been studying Macy's Law for a minute. And I really, I have a thing for victims' right because I had a young man here named Hassan in this city that passed and got killed. And I saw what his mother went through when it came to victims' right, where she wasn't notified when she needed to. Hassan Polk. I saw what his mother went through, that she wasn't notified at proper times when she needed to be notified. And so I have a heart for that Macy's Law. I know they say that it could lead to the abortion rights. I don't see it, but they say it. But that's what I'm getting iffy on. So you study it, make your own opinion. Don't take mine. No, never. I don't take my opinion. Study and make your own opinion. I'm just here, your brother, giving out information and utilizing this airwaves to make sure my people know. Like I said, picking cotton is what I get paid for, but my full-time job is Black liberation. Peace and blessing, y'all. I'll see you all on Friday, Healthy Living Friday. Y'all come in. Healthy Living Friday. Got a lot to talk about this live because I'm talking about labels on this Friday because I didn't know so much stuff had sodium in it. I've been working on my blood pressure, and good Lord, I'm almost had to clean out my cabinet with the sodium. So come in Friday. We're talking about Healthy Living Friday. Hustle Muscle be in the studios. I appreciate you all for tuning in. When you see the video, share it with your friends that wasn't being able to get off at 12:30 to 1:30. Share it with them. Make sure we just get information out there. And like I said, I'm standing with Colin, but I can't run with light. I see y'all on